This is a really generic pattern, and I call it No Name Nymph because I didn't have a name for it. And it's tied with a pretty mental feather, but for some reason that light colour and the contrast to the thorax, and if I put a little bit of moisture on there, when that fly's wet and it's cloaked like so, you can see why it's just so effective. I fish two of these quite high up in the water, usually in and around weed beds, but it's one that's been responsible for picking out some of my better fish or some of the larger reservoirs. Like I say, it's a strange feather, but they're easy to pick up. I'll quickly show you how to tie them. The No Name Nymph. So the first thing I do is start off with a hook and the vise. Because this is designed for competition fishing, it's a size 10. The thread I'm using is a black 8/0. So I'm just winding on a bit of thread in my scissors and snip that off. Coming down to a point opposite the point of the hook. And I've got this really cheap hen cape, falling to bits, and I'm going to take one of the speckled feathers near the top. You can see the coloration on that, really nice. And I'm going to take a generous bunch of this from my tail, just making sure the tips are married up there. I'm just going to tie it in, and I want the tail length of the body, so pinch and loop to secure it, and then just tidy up with a couple of wraps. Taking your thread forward, and then just trim all that at an angle. But I've had so many fish on this fly, and it's well, nobody's seen it. A few of my close friends have seen it, nobody else. So it's a bit of a secret fly, this No Name Nymph. And I've got a really thin French wire, silver. It's a really bright silver. Tie that in on your side of the hook shank. And now the feather. This is the feather, and it's actually picked off the beach by my kids. It's a seagull feather, that's all it is. Seagull feather, very similar to heron, a little bit thicker and a little bit lighter, but you can see that white coloration. Sorry, wrong side. White at the tips, dark at the bottom. So I've got a generous bunch here, and just catch them in, keep them under tension to my tying in point. Stopping at the thorax, I always like to put a little whip finish in there. And then just keeping them bunched quite tight, wrap them up and overlooking turns. So nice and smooth. Something about this colour, the contrast, and then just lock off. I suppose it looks very similar. If it's to look like anything, it looks very similar to a mayfly nymph. Obviously a lot smaller. In my scissors, cut at an angle, and then just tidy up here. Now, we came that way, so we'll rib up in the opposite direction with a thin silver wire. Lock off and secure. So I'm back to my Chinese cape now, and I'm going to take a smaller feather further down the neck. Not too small, because I want quite a decent hackle. I want it to be a little bit, find a decent one. I want it to be a little bit past the bend of the hook. That's a good one there. So a little bit past the bend of the hook. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to catch this in by the tips. So just pull some of the feather, if I can get it to separate, away from the tip section. You're going to be winding it up like you would a normal hackle, so catch it in this side to wind it up the hook shank. With my scissors, trim that away. So I've got this stuff, it's really buggy and leggy, stickle dub, natural grey. I'm going to get a generous amount of this, starting at the eye, working my way back. So I'm going to pull my thread all the way through it. Now take your thread back through the dubbing. Give yourself a little bit to work with at the front of the hook shank. And then in with your hackle pliers, and then just take this up, stroking the fibres back, take this up through the thorax. Try and keep your feather going all the same way. You're looking for 3 turns, maybe 4. Do not worry about how it looks, it's meant to look like that, because all this fibre will cloak. Well, that fibre cloaks the nymph. And my scissors. Moisten your fingers just a little. Stroke everything back and tidy up the head area with controlled thread wraps. Like I say, it's so many. Probably got too many turns on that actually. But if you wet it, you'll soon find out. I've probably got a turn too much on there. Just tidy up the head. Quick finish. And this fly fish is obviously a little bit higher up in the water column, but it's this cloaking effect, the dark contrast over the light, that really works well. So all I'm going to do now is come in a little bit of varnish to finish the fly off either side. And there he is, the no-name nymph. Just an amazing fly, and everybody can get a hold of a seagull feather, not a problem. And this is the one. I've got less turns of hackle in this, which is probably a better version. You can see, I'll actually turn it that way. You can see how it fishes. This one's probably got 1 turn too much hackle. To be fair, I could take that away with the scissors, but it'll fish. That one's a better one. I really hope you enjoyed that, folks. If you did, please be kind enough to subscribe to my channel. There's plenty more fly tying, fly fishing videos in there. Take care. Bye bye.